Don't need a lot of introductions, they tend to do what they are, so it's kind of hard to introduce them. But this one, just to say, is about young men and becoming. On the shaking of hands. Here are young men practicing handshakes around a small table. Too deep in or not in enough is serious for one or the other. And how much to squeeze, and how long to squeeze. Imagine pulling away too soon, as another is still staring you in the eye and squeezing his presence into your palm. Then imagine him attempting to leave your grip but can't. One takes another's hand with his non-shaking hand and slides his in slowly, hand flat till a correct depth is met, and then folds the other's fingers around his as he does the same. A slow-mo textbook version as reference. Next comes the lesson of the match, how the bitterest enemy will cup his hands with yours like petals around a stamen of fire to light his cigarette. This is a supernatural poem, or not, depending. Ghost. He is smoking in the street with a white hand and forearm. He must have slipped and dunked himself into a pan of emulsion. His ghost hand presents a cigarette. He sucks and jaws O's into the still, cold air. They shoot forward, decomposing, but a chain forms where they slow, ghost chains. He smiles, then shivers like someone has walked on his grave, wafts the chain away with his white ghost's hand. When I look again, he isn't there. I've got a few, but not too many. This is, I caught myself doing something shameful, and I'd like to share it this evening. It was imagining, and I'd gone through quite a lot of the thought process actually before I realised what I was doing. Imagining someone close to me had died and I was kind of composing an elegy and kind of enjoying doing it, which was awful. Not that I'm very close to this person, love them very dearly, but realised what I was doing very wrong. And this is about having properly thought about what I've done. Elegy. I would like to apologise for the afternoon when, while retrieving my favourite stripy deck chair from the shed which you organised, so that from outside the windows were neatly peopled, spade handles, rollers, handlebars unlikely ever again to be gripped, I imagined you dead in order to compose a premature elegy. Though I can guarantee you would have approved of the part where I went on about how oil in locks, on cogs and hinges had dried up, directing attention to the small things, the nitty-gritty of days that you had attended with such precision. You had greased our way. It was full of thanks. But now it strikes me that this, in the almost manner of clocks without batteries and trunkless legs of stone, does elegise for real. Though not you, but the me of that moment, the young dog me, still practising, still bracketed by all his family. Another birth has shunted us further out to an edge where we'll all take turns to totter, then slip. Dry runs become the real thing. Once there was a me that simultaneously knew but didn't believe this would happen. This is an elegy for him. This is a kind of expressionistic piece. Blood. This morning blood was everywhere. It rained on plastic roofs and backed up through the plug. It sprinkled from the shower rose and was instead of milk for your cereals. Your tears were blood, and the goldfish was lost in a cuboid of thick blood. Blood was in the veins in leaves, and dried blood made the coffee beans, blood rings. Blood was at the new moon's core, hidden away from us. Blood lubricated the words she barked at her boyfriend in their dark home. Blood waited in taps, and blood held a bubble in the spirit level. On the road sign was a diagrammatic man shoveling blood. In the book, a woman laughed blood, and her family swam in blood under a sun dripping clots and squirting arterial spray. The newspaper was all in red. letters slot drenched onto the mat. Bodies on the path had been opened and crows were getting in. Car doors wide dripped blood. Jumbo jet contrails billowed scarlet, getting bigger like symptoms. We walked through crops doing well on blood. I drank cups of the stuff. This became the new normal and no one seemed to mind. Thinking about Trump earlier, yes, I'm completely with everyone in how they're thinking. I have been thinking quite a lot, and this poem comes from the thought process around success, what success means, how people get success, what successful is, cultural success, professional success, emotional success. This is about a version or someone's version of success. A big idea, a small poem. And it's a true story. Success. In 2010, Iran successfully sent a rat, turtle, and worms into space. And this is a short story. The Cube. The factory produced fascinating toys and dangerous toys. You would never know which you would get. All of them were packaged the same and coloured the same. All of them were the wind-up sort. One might simply hop like a sparrow to a table edge and fall off, or spring apart firing needles. One's key might snap off, leaving the owner wondering if that had been the point. We heard about one that would give you wishes to be fulfilled in the next life. None of the toys were bigger than a medium-sized man's fist. The queue for the shop ran all the way to the coast, though it was in a field which is the furthest you can be from the sea. People died in line. Relationships began, bloomed and failed in the queue. People told each other stories of what they most needed their toy to do for them, or what it mustn't do. And if in their dreams their toy was a success, they would stand especially patiently, keeping themselves to themselves, especially from relations. Okay. This is about the observation of someone displaying probably a negative kind of personality trait. Who's not here is my brother. He can be very, very distasteful sometimes. The disappearing coin trick. £9.99, International Magic Shop, Clerkenwell Road. When you were confronted with the magic trick, cleverly tooled, so that a stack of 10-pence pieces clicked smartly, seemingly out of existence, you were instantly angered. All we don't know, suddenly wielded by a child performing just a trick. You weren't ready. Your rictus grin. How quickly and by such a minute angle your bonhomie becomes something else. Tilted, your world-view must be righted. You fussed at the constituent parts until the magic was pulled apart and ordered on the table like a bright beetle, de-winged, de-legged and organised. For the moment, the laws you live by are accurate and in working order.